You think laziness is just a bad habit? No. Laziness is the silent killer of dreams. Every morning you wake up and hit snooze. You're not just buying 5 more minutes of sleep. You're selling pieces of your potential. That ends today. Because what you do in the first hour of your morning will decide the direction of your entire life. If you want power, clarity, discipline, do this every morning, without fail. You think the hardest part of the day is your workout, your job, your responsibilities. It's not. The hardest part is the very beginning. That single decision the moment you open your eyes. Will you move or will you wait? That split second determines everything. Because in that tiny space between sleep and action, your mind is fragile. It's looking for leadership. If you hesitate, even for a moment, comfort will take the lead. You'll roll over. You'll check your phone. You'll get caught in a cycle of scrolling, thinking, delaying. And by the time you finally drag yourself out of bed, you've already lost your edge. You started your day in surrender. Laziness doesn't always scream. It whispers. It shows up in that quiet temptation to stay under the covers just a little longer. You deserve it, it says. You're tired. But that's the trap, because that little compromise grows fast. 1 minute becomes 10. 10 becomes an hour. Before you know it, the morning is gone, and so is your momentum, the truth. The most dangerous enemy you'll face today isn't out there. It's right there in bed with you. And the only way to win is to beat it before it speaks. The alarm clock isn't just a sound. It's a challenge. Answer it. What most people don't understand is that your brain adapts to whatever pattern you allow. If you keep choosing hesitation, you're training yourself to accept mediocrity. Every time you delay action, you reinforce weakness. Your mind begins to expect ease, to crave it. And when challenges come later in the day, and they always do, your tolerance is already shot. You'll avoid them, postpone them. You'll tell yourself, I'll do it later. But later never brings greatness. Greatness is built in the discomfort you choose, not the comfort you chase. The moment your eyes open, you train your identity. This is about more than getting up early. This is about proving to yourself, first thing in the morning, that you are in control. That you are not at the mercy of tiredness, emotion, or circumstance. That when the easy way is in front of you, you'll still choose discipline. Because discipline isn't convenient. It's earned. It's built in the moments where no one is watching, when there's no applause, no audience. Just you, your choices, and the direction of your life. The strongest people you know. They don't feel more motivated than you. They've just stopped negotiating with weakness. The power of those first 5 seconds is unmatched. You don't need an hour-long routine to change your life. You need decisiveness. Immediate, consistent, undeniable action. When the alarm goes off, don't think. Don't analyze. Stand up. Plant your feet on the ground. You've already won. That movement creates momentum. That momentum becomes mindset. And that mindset carries into everything else you do. Suddenly, your workout feels easier. Your goals feel closer. Your words have more conviction. Why? Because you started your day with strength, not with surrender. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. If you can't win the battle with your bed sheets, how will you win the battle with your dreams? If you keep giving in to the smallest resistance, how will you ever face the biggest challenges? The person who gets up when it's hard, who refuses to bargain with comfort, who acts even when they don't feel like it, that person becomes unstoppable. Not because they're special, but because they made a decision. A decision to stop letting mornings go to waste. A decision to stop living in delay. A decision to rise, no matter what. Making your bed in the morning might seem like an insignificant task. It's quick, it's simple, it doesn't demand much energy. And that's exactly why it's powerful. Because how you handle the small things reflects how you'll approach the big things. Most people dismiss it. They say it doesn't matter. But if you can't commit to making your bed, how will you commit to the goals that actually challenge you? This isn't about perfection. It's about discipline. About showing up for yourself in the little areas, especially when no one else is watching. The bed is your first battlefield. Win there, and you start building the mindset of a person who finishes what they start. There's something deeply psychological about completing a task the moment your day begins. It sends a signal to your brain, we're not here to drift. We're here to take charge. That simple act of straightening the sheets and aligning your pillows sets a tone. It says, I care about order. I care about my space. I'm ready. Most people walk into their day in chaos, mentally and physically. They wonder why they feel disoriented, why they're always running behind. But when you start your morning with structure, it changes your energy. You feel focused, intentional, even proud, because you didn't wait to feel motivated. You created momentum. The truth is, laziness doesn't always show up as full, blown inaction. Sometimes it hides in the way we avoid the details. We leave things half done. We skip over what feels too small to matter. But small things matter most because they compound. When you consistently ignore basic tasks, like making your bed, you teach your mind to tolerate disorder. And once disorder becomes normal in your environment, it becomes normal in your thinking. You accept less. You expect less. And that mindset bleeds into every corner of your life. Cleaning up your space is more than aesthetics. It's mental clarity. It's personal standard. Think about it when you walk back into your room after a long, exhausting day and your bed is made. You feel a shift. It's calm. It's clean. It welcomes you. You're not coming home to chaos. You're coming home to something that reflects your effort and that changes how you feel about yourself. It builds respect. Because deep down, you know the difference between a day you handled with care and a day you stumbled through in survival mode. Making your bed doesn't guarantee success, but skipping it guarantees a missed opportunity to start with strength. Some people will say, I don't have time. But that's just another excuse dressed up as logic. Making your bed takes 2 minutes. And if you don't have 2 minutes for yourself, for your own standard of living, what else are you skipping? This is about what kind of person you're becoming. Someone who leaves things undone, or someone who finishes. Someone who walks past disorder and says, whatever. Or someone who says, no, not today. When you make your bed, You are not just tidying a room. You are reminding yourself, I have power over how my day begins. Consistency in the small things builds trust in yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of real confidence. Every time you follow through on something, even something as routine as making your bed, you prove to yourself that your word means something, that you don't just say what you'll do, you do it. And when that becomes who you are, laziness starts to die. It can't survive in a place where action is non-negotiable. So tomorrow morning, when your feet hit the floor, don't walk past your bed like it doesn't matter. Make it, own it, and start your day like someone who's already winning. Stepping into a cold shower first thing in the morning isn't just about waking up your body. It's about waking up your will. It's a test, a mental and physical challenge that demands immediate courage. When your hand reaches for the faucet and that icy water starts to fall, your brain will scream, no. It will beg for comfort, for warmth, for safety. But that moment is pure gold. Because when you choose to step in anyway, when you choose discomfort over ease, you are rewriting the rules. You're telling your mind that fear doesn't make your decisions, you do. That's where real strength is born. The cold doesn't just shock your skin, it sharpens your focus. It pulls you into the present moment. There's no room for distraction, no space for excuses, no mental fog. It's just you, your breath, and your control. And that clarity bleeds into everything you do afterward. Your thoughts are faster. Your energy is higher. Your attitude shifts. Why? Because you've already done something hard before most people have even checked their phones. That one act of discipline becomes the fuel for your entire day. It's not the water that changes you. It's the choice to face it. Most people build their mornings around comfort. Warm blankets, soft lighting, easy routines. But comfort is a trap. It feels good in the moment, but it costs you everything long term. Comfort is where laziness grows. It's where ambition gets dull and drive fades away. When you expose yourself to discomfort, intentionally, you flip the script. You stop being the victim of your feelings. You stop waiting for life to get easier. You become the kind of person who faces resistance and keeps moving anyway. A cold shower is a physical declaration. I choose challenge. I choose power. I choose to rise. Even when it hurts. There's also a deeper layer to this. When you train your body to respond to challenge without panic, you build emotional control. That cold water hits, and at first, your body wants to flinch, to tense up, to run, but you breathe through it. You relax into it. You learn to stay calm in the chaos. That's not just physical training. That's life training, because stress will come. Pressure will come. Life doesn't care if you're ready. But when you've taught yourself to face adversity calmly, every single morning, you're no longer at the mercy of outside forces. You've taken back your control. Some will say, why go through that? Why make your morning harder than it needs to be? The answer is simple: because life is hard. Because growth demands pain. Because greatness isn't found in what's easy. It's earned through what most people avoid. Cold showers aren't about hygiene. They're about grit. About starting your day with a victory. About proving to yourself and no one else that you don't need to feel ready to act. you act first. Readiness comes second. That shift in mentality is everything. It turns discipline into identity. And once it's who you are, laziness doesn't stand a chance. And here's the truth that most won't admit: discipline feels better than comfort ever could. Not in the moment, but afterward. After you've done the hard thing. After you've stood in the cold and chosen not to back down. That's where confidence lives. That's where self-respect grows. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about unlocking your potential. Because if you can face the cold each morning and still choose to rise, what else can stop you? Not much. That's the kind of mindset that builds unstoppable people. And it starts with one decision: step in. Your body was not designed to stay still. Movement is your birthright, your power source, your activation switch. And yet, most people start their mornings completely stagnant. They drag themselves from the bed to the couch, from the couch to the kitchen, scrolling through a screen while their body sits idle and half asleep. That's not just a lazy habit, it's a dangerous one. Because when your body stays still, your energy stays low, your focus drifts, your fire dies out before it even begins. If you want to destroy laziness, you have to move your body, not later, not when it's convenient now. Even just 10 minutes of movement in the morning can radically shift your state. It doesn't have to be a full workout. You don't need fancy gear or a gym membership. You need motion. Deliberate, focused motion that tells your body, we are alive. We are ready. Whether it's stretching, jogging, doing push-ups, jumping jacks, yoga, or dancing in your room with intensity. What matters is that you're waking up your system with intention. You're increasing blood flow, releasing endorphins, and training your mind to associate your mornings with power, not passivity. Movement is not optional if you want to win the day. It is essential. There's a direct connection between physical motion and emotional momentum. When you start your day in motion, your brain gets the signal it's time to perform. Your physiology influences your psychology. You feel sharper. Your confidence rises. You stand taller, walk stronger, think clearer. That physical shift becomes a mental weapon. Because laziness thrives in low energy. And low energy isn't always about sleep. It's about a lack of stimulation. You don't need more caffeine. You need movement. The more you move, the more energy you create. Energy isn't something you wait for. It's something you generate. Most people wait until they feel like it to take action. But movement flips that on its head. The truth is, when you move first, the feelings follow. Action creates emotion, not the other way around. You don't get motivated and then move. You move and motivation shows up. That's the mistake lazy people make. They're sitting around waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect spark, the perfect time. But life doesn't reward waiting. It rewards doing. So don't sit there and hope for momentum. Build it. Push through the resistance. Move even when you're tired. Especially when you're tired. And here's something no one talks about. Movement builds mental toughness. Not just because it's hard, but because it teaches you how to keep going. Every rep, every step, every breath through discomfort. It's a message to your mind that quitting is not your default setting. You build resilience in those small moments. You prove to yourself that effort is your identity. That even if today doesn't feel perfect, you are still committed. That kind of mental edge is priceless. It separates the people who only talk about success from the ones who actually create it. It all starts with movement. What you do with your body in the morning is a mirror for how you'll show up the rest of the day. If you start in hesitation, in slow steps and sluggish choices, don't be surprised when that energy follows you into everything else. But if you start with strength, with intentional motion, you prime yourself for excellence. You've told your body, we are not sitting out this day. We are stepping into it fully. And that intention becomes momentum. Momentum becomes progress. And progress, day after day, destroys the very thing that holds most people back: laziness. Move first. Everything else will rise with you. Gratitude is not some soft, sentimental feeling you casually express at the dinner table. It's a mental weapon, a force that can shatter laziness, anxiety, and self-pity before they even have a chance to settle in. And yet, most people skip it. They roll out of bed and straight into stress, worrying about what they don't have, what didn't go right, what they're still chasing. But when you start your day with gratitude, you take control of your mindset. You're not waiting for the day to make you feel good. You're creating a foundation of strength before the world even speaks. It's easy to focus on what's missing. That's what your brain is trained to do. Scan for problems, threats, gaps. But the most powerful people in the world, they've trained themselves to see what's already there. Not in some fake, fluffy way, but in a deep, conscious practice. They take inventory every morning of what they're grateful for: breath in their lungs, the roof over their head, the chance to try again. It's not about ignoring your ambitions. It's about starting from a place of abundance instead of lack. And when you do that, laziness loses its grip, because you stop waiting for life to feel good before you take action. You act from appreciation, not frustration. Gratitude shifts your chemistry. It's not just mindset, it's biology. When you feel truly grateful, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals of motivation and well-being. That's not theory, that's science. You create your own energy when you focus on what's good. And that energy, it's the opposite of laziness. Laziness thrives in negativity. It feeds on the story that nothing is working, there's no point, or I'll never get there. Gratitude disrupts that story. It replaces victimhood with power, and power moves. Power builds. Power does not stay still. One of the biggest lies we're told is that success requires you to be constantly grinding, constantly pushing, constantly chasing. But without gratitude, all that motion becomes empty. You burn out, you disconnect, and eventually you stop caring. That's when laziness creeps in. Not from a lack of work ethic, but from a lack of meaning. Gratitude restores that meaning. It reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. It grounds you. It elevates you. And it gives you a reason to keep going when everything feels heavy. Because if you can wake up and find just one thing to be thankful for, you've already started your day with purpose. Some people say, I don't have anything to be grateful for. But that's not truth. That's blindness. The fact that you're breathing, thinking, reading this, able to move, choose, grow. That alone is enough. Gratitude doesn't wait for life to be perfect. It celebrates progress. It celebrates possibility. It says, even if I'm not where I want to be, I'm on the way. And that mentality is dangerous to laziness because it lights a fire. It reminds you of your strength. And when you remember your strength, you stop making excuses and start making moves. Start each morning by naming 3 things you're grateful for. Say them out loud, write them down, feel them, let them sink in. This isn't just a ritual, it's a shift in how you relate to the world. Because when you begin your day in appreciation, everything changes. Your energy is cleaner, your decisions are sharper, your heart is lighter. And when life gets tough, and it will, that habit of gratitude becomes your armor. Laziness has no chance in the presence of someone who truly understands how blessed they already are. Gratitude makes you powerful, not someday. Today, most people start their day by reacting. They open their eyes and immediately grab their phones, scrolling through messages, notifications, headlines filled with noise and chaos. Their mind isn't leading the day. It's being hijacked by whatever the outside world throws at it. And in that first fragile moment of waking up, the direction of the entire day is set by distraction. But when you take control of your thoughts before anything else, when you choose focus over frenzy, you're not just avoiding laziness, you're crushing it before it even begins. Because clarity beats chaos every single time. Intentional thinking in the morning is not some feel-good activity. It's a strategy, a discipline, a commitment to train your mind like you train your body. You sit with yourself, even if just for 5 minutes, and ask the hard questions. What do I want today? Who am I becoming? What must I conquer before the world wakes up? You don't wait for motivation to show up. You create it by giving your mind a target. Because when you have no aim, laziness becomes the default. But when your thoughts are laser focused, you move with purpose. You don't wander, you execute. This is where journaling, affirmations, or visualization come in. Not as trends, but as tools. Tools to rewire your mindset every single morning. You write out what you want, who you are, how you're going to show up. You see your future before it's even built. You speak life into your goals instead of letting doubt speak death into them. That's not delusion. It's leadership. Self-leadership. The kind that builds unstoppable people. Because people who take time to think deeply in the morning are not driven by emotion. They're driven by vision. And vision crushes laziness. The truth is, most people are mentally passive. They let their environment, their past, their mood dictate how they feel, what they believe, and how they move. But morning thinking, intentional morning thinking, is how you break that pattern. It's where you decide what kind of energy you're bringing into the world instead of absorbing everyone else's. It's how you plant your feet before the day tries to knock you over. And when you build that habit, every day, without exception, you start noticing something powerful. You don't just survive your days anymore. You own them. This kind of discipline doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice. A daily one. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. Sitting with your own thoughts can be awkward. It can reveal things you've been avoiding. But that's the point. That's where transformation begins. You can't escape laziness if you're constantly escaping your mind. Face it. Train it. Command it. When you wake up and think clearly before the noise hits, you put yourself in the driver's seat. And a person who drives their own mind doesn't get pulled into distraction or delay. They decide. They act. They win. So before the world asks anything of you, before the notifications, the tasks, the deadlines, give your mind 5 minutes of silence. 5 minutes of clarity. That's it. 5 minutes to remember who you are and why you're here. That's not a waste of time. It's the most powerful investment you can make. Because once your mind is locked in, nothing can knock you off track. Laziness dies in the presence of clarity. You just have to choose to think first before you do anything else. That's how you turn a quiet morning into a launch pad for unstoppable action. Every single day, most people wake up and immediately fall into reaction mode, going through the motions, following the same path they walked yesterday. No spark, no direction, no hunger. But when you make a morning promise to yourself, a declaration of who you are and what you stand for, everything changes. That promise becomes your compass. It cuts through the fog of hesitation and confusion. You don't wait to feel motivated. You remind yourself that your life is your responsibility, that you're not here to drift. You're here to rise. One sentence, spoken with conviction, can carry you through anything. That's not hype. That's power. This isn't about saying nice things to yourself. This is about making a vow, a contract with your future. You stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and speak a promise so clear, so fierce, that your mind has no choice but to obey. Something like I don't quit. I don't stall. I do the work. Every day, no excuses. You're not waiting for someone to believe in you. You become the voice that believes. And that voice echoes. It cuts through laziness like a blade, because you're no longer thinking, if you'll show up today. You've already decided. And when you repeat that promise day after day, something shifts. It moves from words to identity. It goes from something you say to something you ever. That's the real transformation. The lazy version of you doesn't disappear in one day. But every time you speak that promise, you strip it of power. You make it smaller, weaker. And in its place, you build someone relentless, someone focused, someone who leads themselves. This isn't wishful thinking. It's self-programming. And the most successful people in the world, they don't just manage time or habits. They manage identity. This is how you do it. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean you'll never feel tired, never feel doubt, never want to give up. You will. That's human. But that's where the promise saves you. Because when your emotions try to pull you off track, that vow you made, it pulls you back. It reminds you of who the hell you are. It reminds you that discipline isn't about feeling good. It's about keeping your word. You made a promise to yourself. And if you can't keep that, what can you trust? That's why lazy people drift. They've never made a real commitment to themselves. And if they did, they didn't honor it. Making a promise each morning builds integrity. And integrity isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. Saying what you mean and doing what you say. That level of consistency builds insane confidence. not the kind you fake, the kind you earn. You start to realize you can count on you. You don't need a coach, a cheerleader, or a crowd. You have your own back. And that's where freedom lives. Because when you trust yourself, laziness has nowhere to land. It can't take root in a mind that's already declared war on mediocrity. You've got a mission, and you're showing up for it. So speak the words every morning, loud, unapologetic, even if your voice shakes, even if you don't believe it yet, especially then. Say, I don't negotiate with weakness. I don't delay greatness. I rise. I execute. I lead. Make it your ritual, not for hype, but for alignment. Because when your words match your actions, and your actions match your vision, nothing can stop you. Not fatigue, not fear, not laziness. And it all starts with one promise, one bold sentence that says, "This is who I am now." Then prove it. Every single day. If you're serious about destroying laziness, it starts now. Not tomorrow, not later. Don't just listen to this message and scroll on. Take one action. Stand up. Move your body. Speak your promise out loud. Choose clarity. Choose momentum. Choose you. This isn't just another day. It's your opportunity to rewrite who you are. So here's your challenge as tomorrow morning, before the world gets to you, you get to yourself. Do everything we talked about. No skipping, no excuses. Watch how fast your life changes when you start owning your mornings. And if this hit you, if it lit something up inside you, then share it with someone who needs it. Because we rise higher when we rise together. Let's build a movement of discipline, of power, of people who don't wait for motivation. They create it. Your new life doesn't start someday. Serious, it starts with what you do next.